So now we have Noah.
Mm-hmm.
Where I want to start with the Noah story is let's not forget that this is the biggest and greatest animal rescue of all time.
Right.
if it's true, and I believe there's reality to it.
Yeah.
So this massive deluge happens, but the righteous one, he doesn't get mandated to save any humans other than his family who participate in the righteousness. Right.
Right. Yeah.
But God has him save the animals. Right.
Yeah.
And he pulls them into the ark and he brings them out. Now, when they come out, the rabbinical understanding of this is that the earth is destroyed either fully or locally. Everybody has different positions on what actually happened, right?
Yeah.
But the vegetation is destroyed. The soil's destroyed, the ability to grow anything.
Yeah.
So enter survival situation.
Mm-hmm.
So now the idea is that Noah, because it doesn't say when he comes off and he commits the sacrifice, because this is the sacrifice is what instigates the Genesis 9 permission of I'll give you everything that moves.
Sure.
So he permits this, or Noah instigates the sacrifice, not commanded by God. Nothing in there says that it was commanded by God.
Mm-hmm.
God does smell it. He comes and sees, but then God immediately reacts, right? He says, oh, man's heart is only evil continually. Now I see that. Now there will be fear and dread over the animals from you. And just as I gave you every plant, I give the animals to your hand, but everything that moves shall be food for you. Okay. And there's a distinction here, very important distinction, because everything that moves is literally just one Hebrew word behind that phrase. Remis. Remis is essentially bugs. When you look in the creation account, God lays out in the beginning, the birds and the fish, and then the beasts of the earth. And then, right. So after, and we can pull this up to fact check it if you want. But
how do you spell Remis?
Remes. And then I would also pull up Genesis 1:26, I believe. Yeah.
Genesis.
Or no, that's the Dominion. I mean, we could pull up Dominion too, because I think it's there, but the creation account is that God creates the fish and the birds and the beasts, and he lays out these different types of the animal kingdom, right?
Right.
Even separates the beasts of the earth from the wild animals. And then he says the Remus, everything that crawls on the earth. It's a separate classification. So sometimes it'll say bugs, sometimes it'll say reptiles, which is actually interesting because that's not kosher. So it's more likely bugs in the understanding.
Right.
So clearly it's not fish, birds, or land animals, which is what we consume nowadays. So when you understand that God gives this granting of essentially eating bugs, and you understand the kind of rabbinical tradition or understanding, the original understanding before we came around, and just to be fair, before the church fathers really started delineating a lot of this stuff, that the original understanding was that it was a concession. So it's not like God was happy about this. It's that Noah is in a survival situation, and maybe in this moment, I'm gonna put on like what's the word I'm looking for here? Speculation hat for a second.
Yeah.
Maybe, he had seen the nations and the animal killing or whatever. And he's like, okay, now I got to do what I got to do. I don't know. But the point is there's an initial moment. God grants it. And what is, so that's the ultimate respect of what, so this is where we get to the philosophical. You mentioned, do I believe that God has any darkness in him, or can he break his own laws? Or
because you said concession just now. So the question could just be simply, is God able to make concessions for sin? Can God allow sin? Or can God say, if you commit the sin, go ahead, is God able to do that?
Well, I don't think it's an allowance as much as it's a
because you said it wasn't a command, right? So you're saying God is commanding you to eat the animals.
No, it's a permission. Concession. It's a permission, or a concession is a better word.
So can God give you permission to sin?
No. And so God is law, God is the word, God is good.
Classical theism. We're squared away on that. Yeah.
So law of non-contradiction. But he gave us free will. Right? That's a part of that intrinsic law that as we operate with it. So he can't, if Noah's going to make this choice, and if humanity is going to make this choice, we in some ways have to learn from the natural law of our consequences of how God set up the world, and then we come to him when we come to him, and he ushers us back in the way that Christ does. So the point is with the whole concession idea is it's just like fast forwarding again to Jesus, rewinding for us, I guess, but fast forwarding from the flood to Jesus.
Right.
Jesus, when he's asked about divorce, right? They press him on divorce. And what does he say? Well, it wasn't so from the beginning. And he's pointing to the ideal. The ideal is no.
Right.
But because your hearts are hardened, then it was
God allowed you to split from your spouse.
Right. So I'd say it's a similar idea that the ideal, God's law is the same, no slaughter.
Sure.
But humanity's hearts had become hardened. And I can even corroborate that with some other scripture if we want to get into it. But I think that there is a connection between flesh consumption and hardness of heart in such a way that like it's something that we do. And I think there are examples of this throughout the tradition with the fathers or the saints, venerated saints, that would talk about the idea of why fasting and some of these implementations of the church were so important to open that up a bit. But I don't know if that answers your question, but the idea is that it was a concession because man was doing it and man has to learn from his actions. In fact, we see that in Ezekiel 20:25. Ezekiel 20:25 says, "For I gave you statutes which were not good, which could not give you life." Meaning I gave you over to your own bloodlust, to your own will, to your own way, because that's what you're doing. And you're going to learn, and I'm going to be here waiting for you. Prodigal son, however you want to look at it. But I don't know if you want to stop and fact check anything I'm saying, but
I
did look up Remis. Pull it up.
Definitions would be helpful too.
Yeah, just pulled it up.
Sure.
Can you guys see that? It refers to creeping or crawling creatures like bugs, insects, small reptiles, or ground-dwelling animals.
Yeah. So that's the word for every moving thing. God gives him, I give you every remis that creeps upon the earth. It shall be yours for food.
Right.
And then, let me finish. Just after that, he then says, and just so that people don't think I'm skipping any verses, he goes on to say, but you shall not eat flesh with the lifeblood in it. Now, you'll get all kinds of people that will talk about this in a kosher concept. Okay, you can eat flesh, like animal flesh, but you got to drain the blood. There's a whole deeper conversation that I don't think either of us want to go down this, but I'll just put a pin in it that, is it even possible to fully remove the blood from flesh? It's really, when you go to the grocery store, there's blood in the flesh. But all that aside, I think it's a greater conversation around him delineating that flesh with the lifeblood in it, meaning the ruach, meaning those animals. No, and if any are slain, it says that I will demand an accounting of their blood, both from human and animal. In Genesis 6, it goes on to say that. So clearly, it's not something God's happy about.
Yeah. So and there's so many ways that we could take the conversation. You've put so many things on the table that I have a lot of questions that I would love to ask you. But just to point something out, because it's actually kind of really funny, because a while back, it was probably about over a year ago, I did a video responding to a Protestant YouTuber, and for some reason the topic of blood in meat came up. Yeah. And actually in my video, I said that there's blood in meat, and he responded to me. And he said, hemoglobin is not considered blood. That's what he said, right? I was always like your position. I was always under the idea that hemoglobin is considered blood. But then when you actually look it up, and I don't know if maybe you'd want to look it up, hemoglobin, apparently whoever decides these things, they say that hemoglobin actually isn't, if you even put in like, is there blood in flesh meat, like the meat that you buy like at the supermarket, and it'll say it's hemoglobin, but hemoglobin wouldn't be considered blood. But that's just an aside, like you said. You said that as an aside, but looking it up would be interesting, because
I just looked it up. Can we pull the screen up?
I don't know if
so. I said, is hemoglobin considered blood? It says yes. It's considered a component of blood. It's a protein found inside red blood cells.
So that was why I said in my original video, I said, there's blood in the steak.
I think your original position was right.
Yeah. And
forgive you.
Said,
can I apologize for Protestants? Yeah. I'm one of them in the way that I was raised, and I'm not so much aligned, I would say, with a Protestant framework. So I know how often Protestants can come after certain. Anyways, just wanted to say.
but you know what's so crazy about it, though? It's so crazy because I actually looked at, when he made his response video to me, I looked it up. And when I looked it up, what I found said that no, it's not blood. So I was like, oh, I guess I was wrong. And then I did a response video saying, hey, he was actually right about this.
Oh, wow.
But then you just looked it up and now it turns out that I was originally. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, that's just an aside. But
it says it's a key ingredient in blood. So I guess it's kind of subjective there.
It's a key ingredient in blood. So I guess, but anyway, that's kind of, I guess neither here nor there.
Right.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode.